right, so we just got word that the ducklings are here. What do you guys think? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah? I hope that so many of them survived. They had a long trip. So we got our ducks from, do you guys remember?
No, Pennsylvania?
What state? Yep, Pennsylvania. So they had a long trip to Wyoming. So fingers crossed that they are all well and alive. All right, there they are. The moment of truth. All right, so we've got them. And we can hear them chirping. So fingers crossed, you guys. We'll see how many are healthy in there. All right, turkeys. You can take the box out of there too if you need to. This is the worst part of getting ducklings in the mail. And the most exciting at the same time.
Yep. Oh, look at the duckies.
Oh, hello, babies.
Mama did.
So now we are going to individually take them out and introduce them to their water and their food.
Can I do?
Ducks. Yay. All right. I know you want to get out, don't you, little
Here comes the
honey?
first one.
Oh, I forget how little they are. Hi, honey.
Mom, look at this
How
one.
little they are. Hi, sweetheart.
Wait,
Here's your water.
it looks like they're all moving.
No.
No, it looks like they're all moving.
They are all moving.
Oh, and then
That's 3. Oh, that one's still drinking. 4,
Get a little drink. I bet you're thirsty from your long ride.
5, 6, 7, 8,
Ooh.
9,
So if you don't introduce them to water,
10,
they don't know.
typically they won't find it on their own, because when they are
11,
hatched with mamas,
12,
the mamas will show them how to do it. So we have to act as their mamas.
And daddies.
Oh, the turkeys are like, what is happening? Oh, I'm so happy that none of them
16,
died in transit.
17,
Turkeys, you be nice.
18,
Yep, this one's alive. Whoa.
19,
Oh,
20,
yeah, you got some water, didn't you?
21,
Good job, you guys.
22, 23,
Wait, where's 25?
24, and 25.
Well, they gave us an extra one. Is this like a baker's dozen?
Did you guys find a little friend along the way? Found a hitchhiker?
And so if you peck on their food, it kind of shows them where to go. Oh, I forget how little they are.
My mouth can't fit in there.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is very exciting.
I can't believe we got 25.
All right, turkeys, you be nice.
Who wants to name it? Who wants to name it?
Oh, I forget how fast and spazzy they are.
When are we gonna tag them?
They're super fast, aren't they?
Oh my goodness.
Mom, when are we gonna tag
Well,
them?
very exciting. Okay,
When are we
so
gonna hold one?
day 1, you have to make sure that you have adequate heat. You have enough food. We actually add a little bit of brewer's yeast into their food as well for health purposes, so they don't have bowed legs. It's actually good for the strength of their legs when they're growing as fast as they do. And we also put in a little dash of apple cider vinegar in their water, so we can start them off on a healthy note.
Look, still tackling that one.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
They're like little fuzz balls.
They figured it out right away. Look at that.
Turkey. Ducks are a lot smarter than
They're
turkeys.
eating.
And they're eating. That's good. I think we got a lot of smart ducks.
And Texas over there sniffing shoes.
All right. So we are on day 2 with our feathered little friends. We have 0 casualties. Oh, we're doing the moonwalk. So they had a good night. They pretty much slept all through the night. You can see how they're all huddled up kind of near the heat lamp. So you just want to pay attention to that. If you see that they're all huddled away from the heat, you might want to think about raising up your heat lamp because that means that they are warm enough. If you see that they are all huddled under the heat lamp, you may want to think about another source of heat because that means they're huddled together trying to keep warm and it's not happening. So day 2 is pretty similar to day 1. With ducklings, you have to make sure that their bedding is dry. That is almost impossible because they only want to get in there and splash around and play. So they will get in their water, as you can see. I'll try not to scare them. But they'll get in their water and they'll just muck it up. So what we like to do is you can just go to any home improvement store, obviously big box store, you can guarantee you're going to get this. We just did a paint tray, and then you can get this roller tray as well that goes on top. So you can try and contain some of the water that is spilled out. That is my personal suggestion to all of you if you're thinking about getting ducklings for the first time. It makes life a lot easier. The first time we did this, we had, and I'll show you. So, okay, these are our turkeys. But we had these little waterers. Okay, these are great, but you're gonna be changing them all the time. Turkeys, not so much. But with the ducks, because they drink so much water and they have to keep their nasal cavities clear, they need more water. So if you don't want to change your water all the time, I suggest getting a bigger water. Now, you don't want to get too big like the 2, 3, 5 gallon waters because those have bigger basins on the bottom and they won't be able to get in there. You'll have to build like a ramp. So you don't want to do that. They will be big enough soon and you can get a bigger basin. Right now, this is a perfect size. I think it's maybe half gallon or a gallon. Whatever the size up is from those little liters. Make sure they have enough food. And like I said on yesterday's video, make sure you have some sort of yeast. We like to use this brewer's yeast that I find that they add in garlic and echinacea and oregano and all of these really medicinal herbs just to keep them healthy. But on top of that, we also add a splash of raw organic apple cider vinegar to each water. I continue doing that throughout their lives. If you do it for the first week, you pretty much can bank on the fact that they're going to have a healthy start. We only like to feed our ducks organic. We don't ever feed them medicated food. You want to stay away from medicated food. It will cause a lot of issues for you. But like I said, with the brewer's yeast, that is for their leg growth, so they don't have bowed legs. It helps to build strong legs, and they need that for when they're out foraging and swimming and all of that. So day 2 is pretty much the same as day 1, except you're not introducing a lot, and they're bulking up, and you're gonna notice that they grow so fast. So enjoy this time with them. Pick them up as much as you can, as carefully as you can. Get them used to you so that way when they do become older, they're not terrified of you. Day 3 with our ducklings. Still 25 happy, healthy, adorable ducklings. I know this is a video about ducklings, but I just want to show you what else we have going on here. We have 123 little turkey poults here. Now, I love any sort of baby animal. Okay, these guys are adorable. They are crazy, but there's something just even more adorable about these little ducklings. I don't know if it's their tiny wings, their giant feet, their little bills. I don't know what it is, but they are amazing. So day 3 is not much different. They're definitely going through more water. On the last video, I wasn't sure what size this waterer was. This is 1 gallon. They have gone through 3 of these today, with a dash of apple cider vinegar. I have emptied this trough off at least twice, and you can see how much mess they make. So if you are thinking about getting ducklings, keep in mind the mess. We don't mind it here. We're on a homestead. We're building a house. We're in construction. We don't care. But if you are worried about it, ducks might not be the animal for you. Turkeys, chickens, they are much more dainty and careful with their water. These guys just want to splash in it. They want to be crazy. They want to get wet. They want to dunk their entire heads under, which I love. But yeah, day 3, again, not much different. We changed out the bedding. We change it out at least once a day. These little pieces of wood that we used as little ramps for them to get up here, I have scraped off at least twice because all of their feces gets caked on there with the straw. The only reason we're using the cut straw right now is because our local farm store did not have the small wood shavings. So that's the only reason. I would not recommend these to anybody, really, especially with little creatures like this that get wet. We've rotated out this bedding quite a few times. It just gets really wet and saturated, and it's not, I don't know, it's not the best. I don't love it. It causes a lot of dust. And when they're growing this rapidly, I want their lungs and their respiratory system to be extremely healthy. Hence the apple cider vinegar in their water. This is really dusty. You can get wood shavings that are well, they claim to be dust-free, but there's a little bit of dust that goes with them. But this is ridiculous dust, you guys. So if you have a choice between the straw or the hay and the wood shavings, I would definitely go wood shavings. My personal opinion. This is, again, my second go around with ducklings. We do have, I think, 8 more than we did last time. So we're going to have to move them quickly. They grow fast. They eat fast. They drink fast. They sleep a lot, and they grow fast, which is great. But then you have to move them into a bigger enclosure. So just keep in mind, pay attention on their food. Pay attention to the water. I have had to empty this out a couple times. You can see how much water is in there now, how much they splash. They love it. So just enjoy them. Pick them up, give them love, give them kisses. We like to come in there and talk to them, maybe give them a little song, and just enjoy the adorableness of these ducklings. So this is day 4 with our 25 ducklings. The only real difference today is that you need to watch their water. They have grown quite a bit in the few days that you've had them. They go through a lot of water. So I just filled this water up tonight, and I bet it will be dry by morning. So you have to make sure you have a big enough water system for them that they don't go thirsty. With ducks, they need to be able to clean out their nostrils, and they need to be able to swallow their food. You can soak their food if you so choose. We have not had good luck with that, so we do the dry food and just keep plenty of water available for them. And again, I like to use a dash of apple cider vinegar, and we're still putting in the brewer's yeast in their food. So what I do is I just do a heaping spoonful with 1 full feeder like you see here, and then I shake it around so it's equally distributed throughout the food. These are khaki Campbell ducks. This is what we've raised over the last year, and we've had really good luck with them. We got 16 last year, and we still have 16 this year. But you can see they go crazy. So we needed to get them a bigger box today. Again, they make a humongous mess with their water. So my suggestion is either a large Rubbermaid tote, or if you can find a horse trough or a cattle trough, one of those big metal bins, those would work well too. Something where they can't jump out. We just used a big box that we got and lined it with plastic. That way, when we have it on the floor, it doesn't soak through and ruin the floor and disintegrate the box. So you make sure that they have clean bedding. I usually change their bedding out, especially around their water, probably 2 times a day. And if you are using the painter's tray method like you see here, you're going to see that they fill that up rather quickly. So you're going to want to rinse that out. Make sure it's nice and clean and empty for them. And just spend time with them. Talk to them. Pick them up. Enjoy them. They are very entertaining. They are probably one of my favorite birds to raise. Day 5, and all are present and accounted for. They are a little skittish, but not much has changed in the last day. So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting them used to you. Pick them up, give them love. Make sure you're checking their water. We did change one thing today. We just did some pine shavings instead of the straw bedding. The reason we had the straw bedding before was because our local farm store didn't have any pine bedding, which I thought was crazy. So today we made a special trip and got a couple cubes of this bedding, and it definitely works better. So day 6, you'll notice that these guys have doubled in size. All they're doing now is eating, sleeping, drinking lots of water, as you can see. So just keep doing what you're doing. Day 7. These guys are officially a week old. They're eating a lot more, you can tell, and going through a lot more water. I just cleaned out their bedding, so that, again, like I said, needs to be done at least once or twice a day. So today is day 9. I think these guys got even bigger overnight. You're going to notice, depending on how many you have, that they run out of water a lot faster now. So we will need to up their water game overnight at least when we can't pay attention to it. I woke up this morning and it was pretty dry. Luckily there was still water in the tray that they could drink, but that's my sign to get a bigger water. Day 11, and you can see how quickly these guys are growing, or these gals, I should say. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So if you're thinking about getting ducklings, there's a few different ways that you can do this. You can get a straight run, which means you never know what you're getting. Female, male, or you can pay a little bit extra, get females, or if you are wanting drakes, which are the males, those tend to be a little bit on the less expensive side. So whatever you're using your ducks for, whether it be meat, whether it be breeding, whether it be eggs, there are possibilities for all of it. So who we used was Fifth Day Farm. So we got them from the Freedom Ranger site. So if you just go to freedomranger.com, they'll give you options. They have a couple different hatcheries that specialize in different birds. And these are khaki Campbells, which we already have 16 of these adults that are already laying out in our duck house. But because there are so few duck breeders in this area, or duck farmers, I should say, that carry eggs, it was needed. So we decided to get 25 more. Here we are on day 12 already. We did have a couple casualties. We had one duck that was extremely small, was not thriving. It's just one of those situations where you don't know what's wrong. It just stopped eating, stopped drinking. We were trying to help it do both, and it just was not able to do it. So that one passed away. And there was another one that had some sort of a neurological issue. Now we're thinking it's something that had to do with its intestines, maybe. I don't know. We're not a vet. This is our second year raising ducks, so we're not really sure. It wound up, kept coming on its back and flailing its legs, and we'd have to help it back over. And we thought it was getting better. We were trying some different remedies, and it just, at the end of the day, it was just suffering too much. So we still have 23 happy, healthy ducks. So day 12, pretty much the same. You're noticing you're gonna have to change the bedding a lot more often. In this small of an area, we're changing the bedding twice a day, just to keep them from getting any illnesses. So keep that in mind. Day 13. Still some happy ducks. We just gave them new bedding, so you can tell that they love to dig and forage, and I'm going to be really excited once we get them outside. So not much different on day 13 than the rest of the last few days. Just make sure you watch food and water. Well, we've hit the 2-week mark. If you've made it this far, chances are you're going to be good to go with your ducklings. They are thriving, drinking lots of water and making giant messes, but we love it because they're so entertaining. Making sure that you're keeping their water clean. Another thing to mention is taking apart the whole watering system and just giving it a good bath every single day. They create a lot of bacteria, these ducks, because they're in water so much. You just hate for something to happen. Same goes for their food. If you notice, we keep ours further away from the water. They will need to go directly from their food to their water because ducks tend to choke without water on their dry food. So they need something that they can dip their whole bills in, and they can wet their nostrils as well.